Welcome to Cruise Vacay for You, your travel news source, especially cruising. We got some stories today. We got passengers injured, and has Carnival gone too far? Stick around. The Carnival Panorama was in the Baja area of the Gulf of California, and they experienced a bit of a fluke storm. It was nothing to do with a hurricane or anything of that nature, but it was more of just a really bad thunderstorm. Reports have that they were in like 60 plus mile an hour winds, and a lot of wind was hitting the side of the ship, and actually ended up having it listing to one direction for around 30 seconds until the captain regained complete control and was able to get the ship back in a more orderly direction. Reports are that there was a flooding on the decks of the ship, in the dining room, plates flying everywhere. There were reports of a number of passengers injured, to the point that they actually had to be removed from the ship at the next port and actually being seen at a hospital. Unsure as if they rejoined the ship after their visit to the hospital, but a little bit of a scary scene. And a lot of people are like, well, this is exactly why I won't cruise during hurricane season. Well, this actually had absolutely nothing to do with a hurricane. It was just simply in the Gulf of California, there around the Baja area, and just a fluke thunderstorm just popped up. And these things happen all the time. I've been on many different cruises where we just ran through a thunderstorm and things might have got a little bit rough. You can't do anything, that kind of situation. And also in that particular area where it's located at, it's a tight little corridor they're going to go through, and there's a storm come through, you're going to get the storm. So leave a comment below if you've ever been involved in one of these storms and have gotten a little bit scared about things shortly thereafter or during it with some of the things that were going on. So just leave a comment below. Here's the big question here. Has Carnival Cruise Lines gone too far? We know that they've been trying to clean up their image. They've been trying to make them look more wholesome, look more like, family-oriented line that they were for so many years. And we know that here as of late, some things have kind of gotten a bit out of control. One, the brawls, the fights on the ships. Not only is happening on the ships, it's happening in the cruise terminal. And of course, now we all know that Carnival is not the only cruise line that is having these problems with the brawls, but they're the one that's become the most associated with and the most notorious for them. And so, kind of getting the bad look on things with that. And so we all know about that problem. The other problem, people bringing illegal items on the ship. And what I mean by illegal items, we're pretty much thinking about illegal drugs. And, can't really use that word on here as to what it is because it may get flagged. And I don't want to get flagged by YouTube. And so, but we all know what it is. And we know that, you can be, on your balcony and all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, there we go. Someone around me is on their balcony. And, I've been on numerous different ships where, even being out on the Lido deck and being like, uh-oh, I smell something. A lot of times, so does security, and they start looking for things. Well, in this particular case, a lot of people are starting to complain about the fact that some of the ships, they're actually keeping drug-sniffing dogs on board. And in some cases, they're getting, say a passenger gives an anonymous tip, says, hey, I think room so-and-so, they may have something because I've been smelling it out on their balcony. And you know what they do? They go to that room and they search it with the dogs. And sometimes they find something, but most of the time they don't find anything. And a lot of people are feeling as though those that are being searched like this and called out for it, that they're being singled out. And I understand where they're coming from. I see it. But also on the flip side of it, I also see why it's happening. And it has gotten out of control. And they're trying to get things under control, but at what expense? And at what expense are they doing to get to this point? And so there's a lot of arguments that are floating around as to why they're doing it and the different areas of and different viewpoints of it. But, hey, we got to do things. I know when you get on a ship now, you're going to, if you have any carry-on bags, you lay them down in front of you. The dogs come and sniff it. And, if they lay down in front of your bag, you're going to get searched. And so it always gets I always get a little nervous when they do that. When they come by, I'm like, I know I ain't got nothing in my bag, but what if that person beside me does and the dog misses it and thinks it's my bag? They're going to go through it. And so, but it's all part of it. And I want cruising to be safe. I think we all want cruising to be safe. We want things to be under control. We want things to be a good family, wholesome environment for us when we take our vacations, because we're paying our hard-earned money for those things. But at the same token, we also want things done the right way. And, I get why they're doing what they're doing, and I also understand why some people are very uncomfortable with it. So, have you ever been searched before? Have you ever had the dog stop at your bag, even though there was nothing in it? And you'd be like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. You ever had that happen? Thankfully I haven't, but I can definitely see where a lot of people have before, and it's been absolutely nothing at all. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more news and more cruise and travel news, and I hope to catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.